My name is Kirsty and this is my story. So I always had a knowledge of who God was and that He loved me, and I knew that it was something that was very important, but it wasn't until, I guess, in my teenage years that it became more of a reality. I was in a really small primary school, so until I was about 12 I just went to a school that had 30 people, so I was quite sheltered, I guess. And I was super enthusiastic for Jesus, and I was always dead keen to tell everyone about Him. When I went to high school, I was faced with a lot of different things, just like social groups, and all of a sudden boys weren't horrible creatures that played in the mud anymore, and they became a little bit more appealing. And there was a lot of like alcohol and things even when I was 13, 14, getting passed about, so I made a lot of those things my priorities. Everything sort of unraveled in my life. I became very depressed, I guess, with the guilt of it all, because I knew that I'd messed up. There was like a few very dark months where suicide was very much on my mind. I felt that it was an option. It was really difficult. I was still going to church, even though it was a bit irritating, I found at the time, but sort of just went to still appease my parents. One day I was really down, and I threw myself on my knees and I was just like, God, I can't do this anymore. You just either take my life or take my life and do something good with it. It wasn't like a click of the fingers and everything was totally fine and I was happy again. It was a big turnaround until I found that I was happy and I was at peace with God again. And I still had these issues of guilt following me around about what I had done, but it took a long time for me to work out that that's what Jesus did for us. Like, His grace and His mercy is just incredible, and I don't need to clean myself up before I come to Jesus. That's why Jesus is there. When I was younger, I remember being in a youth group and there was a verse that was brought up, and it always sort of stayed with me. 1 Peter, all men are like grass, and the glory is like the flowers of the field, and the grass may wither and the flowers fall, but the word of the Lord stands forever. And as I was getting older, it kind of stayed with me, and I always sort of remembered it. It just made more sense that, you know, all these things, all this stuff that the world is telling me is important just isn't. God is what's important. My name is Kirsty, this is my story, I will be a light.